You try to help them so they don't have to hurt. That's one of the worst feelings in the world as a parent, is to see your kids hurt or struggling. They took away our rights as parents and our rights to raise our children the way we see fit.
They had alerts in our attendance system that when you would click on it, it would say this student prefers to go by this name. They do not want their parents to know. Do not tell their parents. As a teacher, I was like, I will not lie.
If they're doing this with our child, how many more are they doing it with? When they kept justifying
what they
did and saying that they had every right to do what they did. And so then our only course of action to stop this from happening was to take legal action.
Parents have a responsibility to direct their children. They have a responsibility over their children's well-being, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of those things. I feel like public education has driven in that lane for so long now that parents have lost even the understanding of what their lane as a parent is.
I was one of those parents that, put my son to school, I trust the teachers, let them go. I really was not involved in anything with the school district until COVID. I'm just like every other parent, COVID hit and we were just thrust into this. Well, here's a laptop. You need to go do whatever you need to with your kids.
So the year I got my teaching degree was the year I quit teaching. It's a product of COVID. I was a student teaching in a kindergarten classroom. And when my daughter got, again, contact trace quarantined, I was in the middle of the class teaching the kids, and they'd just gotten back from lunch. So I went down to the office to pick her up, and she wasn't in the office. So I walked down to her classroom, and she was sitting on the floor with all of her other peers with the teacher, and they were reading a story. And I didn't understand why, if she was contact trace quarantined and I had to take her back home, why she was still sitting on the floor exposing the other kids. So I picked her up. They told me that I had to wait for my paperwork. So I waited for my paperwork, and I grabbed the paperwork and I took her home, and she was crying because she'd just gotten off of a contact trace quarantine. When I came back to school, the principal told me that if I wanted to secure my job in the district, I needed to quit making waves.
I was at a training at the central administration building here for teachers. There was 2 other teachers there, and I asked them what building they were in, and they told me they were at the alternative high school, and I asked if they knew our oldest daughter. And the gal, she says, oh yes, I do know her. She's so sweet. Mentioned her by name, and I asked the guy, do you know her? And he said her first name, but a different last name. And I knew there was another student there by same first name. And I said, nope, that's not her. But I had my planner and I had it custom made, so I had pictures of my family and stuff on it. And so I just pushed it forward and pointed to her, and I said, "This is her." And he looked at the gal with confusion, and she went like this and said, "He goes by Cooper." And I was shocked and angry. I had colleagues, kids in my classrooms, and I taught some students of people that work in the administration building, and it was, for me, it's a professional courtesy to every parent, but I think more so when you work with somebody and you're like, "Hey, I have your kid, so this happened, I just want you to know," or whatever. And the fact that I wasn't given that courtesy, that nobody said anything to me. I mean, I'm not in the same building, but I am in the district. I am a teacher. I was very frustrated.
Like, vocal in parentis means that they are acting on my behalf while my children are there. Not, we're your parent while you're at school. That's where it's gotten mixed up. And I had asked one of the teachers there for a syllabus of her class, and I got some pushback. Another teacher put a giant rant on Facebook about how parents should be trusting teachers and that the teachers know best, and basically, how dare I ask for the syllabus. And that's when I really started thinking, what is going on here?
So looking into it, talking to other moms, social emotional learning, I'm sitting here thinking, that's not the school district's job. Like, they need to be learning how to add and subtract in elementary school. They're needing to know how to spell, because my 4th grader can't spell. At first glance, you're like, what's so wrong with it? You're teaching them how to socially interact with children. What's so wrong with it? Well, you're taking the parent out of the equation. I think that was the biggest wait a minute for me. The why are you teaching children this? 5th grade, for example. 5th grade is when they start teaching human development, right? For a girl, where they split the girls and the boys, and they start teaching all of the, what happens when girls hit puberty, what happens when boys hit puberty. And I requested to sit in that class with my child, with my daughter. I want to know what you're telling my children in these classes. And I got told no, because children might ask questions that they don't want their parents to hear. Red flag.
I did attend public school, K through 12. I graduated from Natrona County High School here in Casper. Me and my husband, we did a lot of research into programs that we thought would be good and things and aspects that we wanted. And then we looked at the public schools, and, we went and talked to some principals, and we tried to do our due diligence and ask questions that were important to us. And we were always reassured. My daughter has a hard time claustrophobia, stuff touching her face, on her skin. She has very sensitive skin, and so masks were a constant irritation for her. She didn't want to go to school if she had to wear a mask. It was hard, and that was the first time that I felt that I needed to say something. So I went to school board meetings. I started going to school board meetings along with a lot of other parents. And we did get a variance, and the school district did apply to not mandate masks for kids. They could wear them if they wanted to, but it was not mandatory for them to. I felt at the time that was a good move. Okay, let's give parents, let's give families the options to do it. But Emily experienced in school at CY that the children, if she didn't wear a mask, that kids would say mean things to her, that teachers would say comments to her about not wearing a mask.
When we were in a counseling session in a family group, had mentioned with her counselor there that she thought she was trans.
She'd been seeing a counselor, and they were talking through things. We had a couple family sessions trying to be more open.
We sat down with her and asked her what was going on, and then she explained to us, this is what I've been doing, and I'm like, okay, who was doing this? And she mentioned all of her teachers had changed her name and changed her gender and was referring to her by a male name and male pronouns. And so we said, okay, and continued on with the conversation with her, just trying to get an understanding. She claims she did her own research and looked into it and came up with the conclusion that she was trans. So we're okay, that makes sense, but let's work through this. Let's work it out. Let's figure out why you feel the way you feel. Let's get an understanding of all this. Aspen was running the computer and went into her email because they were looking for an explanation from another teacher. And Ashley noticed an email from this teacher that she had that wasn't her teacher, and it didn't sit right. It just was like, there should be no reason you should be communicating with that teacher. And come to find out that teacher was a big part of this community. We ended up getting the emails, and they were very, very obscene. They were very, very inappropriate. A teacher was emailing from a district email to our daughter's school computer, very, very explicit websites, very, very graphic websites to support this. And that was by far the worst communication that we ever found out about between her and a teacher. Her mother instantly got on the computer and emailed all of her teachers and administrative personnel and said, this is to stop. That's not her name. You are to refer to her as her biological name, her biological gender. This is request from her parent. And instead of just saying, okay, we're going to honor you as parents and we're going to do what you requested with your child, we're going to keep figuring out how to go around what you want.
My son, he has paralyzed facial issues. And you had those events lead up to him getting sick. Well, he got sick. My instructions to the school district was do nothing. Contact parent only. I get a phone call. I go pick him up. He's sick. I bring him home. He tells me that they swabbed him. The nurse was criminal. She violated my rights as a parent. But what rights do we have when we have our legislators protecting the school districts, protecting the county? That responsibility has been taken away from the parents for quite a while. Parents have been shut out of the system.
Why is there a rift between public education and that true educational enterprise? Why does that rift exist? I think it exists for two reasons. One of the reasons is because there is a societal religion that is at odds with the Christian religion. We don't treat the societal religion as a religion. We treat it as secularism, as though it's kind of neutral territory. And the common sense parents of Wyoming at various stages along the way started recognizing this is going on and we need to stand up and reclaim what is our responsibility. We thought they were just being a partner with us, but when they actually usurped that responsibility from us, now it's time to reclaim it.
We need to embolden and empower parents to reassert their rights. I think they have been misinformed and deceived sometimes and kind of told, you're not the professional, leave it to the professionals to decide. States like Tennessee, Montana, Idaho, and Arizona have really passed comprehensive legislation that protects all of those rights and even gives parents a legal remedy so that if the government violates the right, if a school official, a school counselor hides information from the parents can go in and get a court order telling those government officials, leave our family alone, let us raise our child consistent with our beliefs so that we can guide them in the way that we think is best.
We went through the proper steps. We went and tried to talk to the teachers and the principal and got nowhere there. So then we escalated it to HR, didn't get anywhere there. So then we took it to the superintendent and then she talked to us one-on-one and then we sat down with the principal. We explained the whole situation. background, stuff that they didn't need to know as her teachers and as administration about her life, just so they had an understanding that what they did undid years of counseling. What they did has caused more problems than helped. So after that meeting, we felt we were on the same page. They agreed to communicate with us. They agreed to talk to us and let us know if anything comes up, if things change, they were going to inform us. When they released that new procedure instructing teachers to withhold information from parents, she drove up to the high school to talk to the principal just to make sure that our agreement was still in place, that they were going to communicate. And he flat out looked at her and said, no, if she comes to me and wants me to lie to you, then I will lie to you.
The lawsuit started because she asked them to do that, but it's not because of that. It's because of the actions the adults took. She is our daughter. Biological or not, she is his daughter. He taught her how to ride a bike, rollerblades. They were best friends. He went to every single band concert, football game when she was little. We are her parents. Anytime she got sick, we took care of it. We helped her brush her teeth. We taught her to walk. We taught her to speak. We fed her and clothed her and bought her her first car. She was our daughter, not theirs. Their job was simple. Just teach my kid the basics.
Going to school board meetings, hearing, seeing, researching, asking those kinds of questions, speaking out at school board meetings. That was not an aspect that I had ever done before. My child needed me to do better, and I needed to do better. So I stepped up. It wasn't comfortable, but I felt like it was necessary.
I didn't want to make waves, or we would just talk about it at home and kind of problem solve on what to do at home. And then I started speaking out for him in 4th grade and kind of advocating, and I saw a shift in how I was perceived as a parent. But I always loved to volunteer. I always loved to go inside my kids' classroom and do whatever I could do to help out.
When I first started speaking out, it was super lonely. I had lots of parents reach out to me or, talk about me behind my back saying, she should just shut up. It's just fine. And then the more I was vocal about it, the more I had people say, I really do agree with you, but there's nothing I can do. It's just so disheartening as a parent when your authority over your child is met from another authority of, nope, we trump you. When in fact, it's the opposite. And that's why something needs to be done. I just want to encourage people that just take that leap of faith into speaking out for your truth and being bold. It just takes one time to be courageous and speak out. And then you're like, oh, I took my power back.
The problem that's broken is it's the school board members having these policies that don't go and protect the parents. It's only one-sided. The laws are gray. The laws can't be gray. The laws have to be equal for both. Justified so that way the parents have rights, and justified so that way school districts have rights.
There has to be some form of consequence, something that's written or that says you cannot do this. Parents are first. And I don't even, it makes me very angry that something would even need to be written at all, because to me, it's common sense. You're the parent, you gave birth, you raised this child, you are that person's legal guardian, you're the one that makes all decisions for them. That's you. I advocate for a lot of parents who come to me with issues that they're not being heard on. I want Wyoming to stay free. I want individual liberty to be upheld. I want parents to be able to come to the school and say, I'm exercising my right and my authority, and I want the school to listen and say, yep, you're right.
Really, the state is a agent of the parents. I'm giving you authority to educate them. I'm giving you authority to teach them math and science and some of those things. That doesn't mean you can hide information from me about my kids. That doesn't mean you can push them in directions that may conflict with the direction I think is best for my kids. It's a limited authority based on what the parents have sort of delegated and authorized the state to do.
The first thing the state needs to recognize is that the parents are the clients of education, not the kids. Their responsibility is to listen to how the parents want their kids educated. Once they recognize that, we're able to start addressing the problems from the same foundation.
Okay, so from my perspective, the reason that I got involved in the parental rights was the Justin Peltier case had just occurred within the year or two before that. And what we heard from all the detractors is we don't need this kind of thing because precedent has been set and the fundamental right has been established with 200 years of case law. But as we've seen, that was being eroded, and so that's why I ran this bill to put fundamental rights in statute, with the hopes that someday we put it in our state and federal constitution. I think the bill is right. I think it was crafted correctly. I worked with national groups with parental rights. I did make a grievous error. I did not put a civil or a criminal penalty in it for violation of it. And we are going to try and correct that this year. With freedoms comes responsibility. And so as a parent, it's their responsibility. Go to those school board meetings. Let your voice be heard. If you don't like what you see, run for an office. If you have values that are not being reflected in the school, you must speak up. It's your child. God has granted you that child. It's your fundamental right to raise that child the best you can.
My daughters, I think, are really proud of me. Sorry. They know that I am trying to make a difference and to make it so that this never happens again. And I will definitely fight tooth and nail to never put parents in this situation again.
I am going to continue to be out front. I'm going to continue to talk at the school board. I'm going to continue to talk to other parents. I'm going to continue to share information that I find. I'm not just fighting for my kids. I'm fighting for all kids because they all deserve a chance, and every parent that wants to know has a place that they can go and find information. And if they need help, I will help them. I will show up. I have gone to so many meetings. I have gone to so many outreaches and so many different things and so many different places, just sharing information, talking about the things, giving examples. If you don't know if this is something that you should be concerned about, just ask questions.
My children are seeing what I'm doing. They're seeing me fight for other children, fighting for what's right, and keeping those values, even though, yes, it is an uphill battle, my children are seeing that I am doing what's right. They're not seeing me quit. They're not seeing me give up. Honestly, that's what keeps me going. I can't quit. I might tell them, oh, this is so frustrating. What am I doing? But they're like, Mom, why don't you stop? No, I can't. Because if I stop, then other people might stop. So I think keeping going and being that role model of someone who doesn't give up isn't going to quit, even though you have people calling you names. You just keep going and making sure that you're fighting for what they're pretty much their future. You're fighting for their future and what they will probably have to fight for their children. And they can be like, well, my mom did this, I can do this too.
It doesn't change anything. She's still my daughter. She's still his daughter. And always will be. And I tell her that so often, that there's nothing you can do to change it. You're stuck with me forever. There's nothing you can do to make me not love you.
Something also positive that I think they've seen is it doesn't matter what other people say. You be true to who you are, and they've seen that through us. We've been able to do that. We've stayed true. We've stayed honest with our beliefs. We haven't wavered. We haven't caved.
We haven't changed.
So many times you see people just turning an eye or just going with the flow because they don't want to cause the rift, and they may deal with something that doesn't sit well with them, or that goes against their values or goes against their morals, and they just accept it because that's just the way it is. They've seen us stand against it and stay true to our beliefs and stay true to our morals and stay true to what we have taught them. People are going to be rude. People are going to say mean things. Don't let that define you. That's not who you are. And the people that really care will see through that and accept you for who you are and be there for you always.